Greetings YouTube! So obviously there are some games that have a PS4 and a PS5 version, and I know that everyone's been waxing about the graphics in these new games, but I've been playing Spider-Man Miles Morales and I haven't really noticed the graphical improvement, because remember that the two consoles both run at 1080. If you've got a PS4 Pro, it runs at 4K as long as you have the TV, which I don't. So either console, it doesn't make any difference to me. And maybe on certain games there's a step up on the frame rate. Instead of it being 30 frames a second, some games you can tell them to be at 60 frames a second. So you may notice certain differences. But Miles Morales, I find that to see the graphical improvements, you have to stop playing, because you're web swinging through the air and you're moving so fast you can't really see the detail. I've noticed, however, some graphical improvements with Watch Dogs Legion, because you're at ground level, you move a lot slower so you see stuff. And then of course certain games have things with the triggers and the vibration system built into the controller. The next gen games take advantage of that. Now, as soon as I fired this game up for the first time on PS5, I ran forwards, and I'm pretty sure that didn't happen before in the original game, because what I'm looking at is his shadow, because his shadow moved across the wall like that. You can see it moving, and it's this light up here. I'm pretty sure the original PS4 version didn't have this. And this is why everyone's freaking out about the new graphics. About the ray tracing and everything. I don't know the damn difference between each of the mechanisms, but if you walk away, you walk towards the light, and the shadow gets bigger. And that's as close as I can get. And if I turn the camera like that, the shadow and him disappeared. But you get the point here. The shadow is realistic. And this is as soon as I started playing this version. It caught my eye straight away that that was what was happening. That the shadow wasn't just sort of faking its way across the wall like, I'm going to call it current gen because not everyone has a PS5. Yeah, the shadow didn't fake its way across the wall. It looked more impressive. And again, this is the kind of thing that I didn't notice with Miles Morales, because you're too busy moving fast and swinging through the air, far away from the buildings, from the walls. But this is right in your face and immediate. Now, admittedly, not every light source here does this, because if you walk down here, suddenly this light source breaks the immersion completely and refuses to do the same thing, which is really annoying. And suddenly the fact that it's not doing the ray tracing is right in your face. It's, yeah, that was, yeah, only certain light sources do it in this initial section anyway. It's still impressive when it does it.
That hurt you more than it hurt me.
This bit, of course, the House of Commons, and this is another thing that I noticed. Light, light, two shadows. And again, the shadows do their thing, they're realistic. They just, yeah. They do that thing where you've actually got two shadows, and you can even see the shadows overlapping over the door frame. And you see that shadow there, it kind of fades out a little bit from left to right. This one I'm pointing the cursor at. If you just push your own shadow across it, it just overlaps properly. I'm sorry, I don't normally get this excited over graphics. Graphics and sound do not a game make. But this is impressive shit. It really is. Also, let's talk about the shooting system for a moment here. Shooting system is exactly the same, except that when you're shooting, you sprint, you can press the trigger normally, but as soon as you take to shooting, well, as soon as you aim down the sights, it's doing the same thing that Borderlands 3 did. I'm getting shot at because I'm trying to demonstrate. You can press it so far and it'll just hold and then it'll give in. Oops. And then of course awesome shit like this happens. You're just driving along, there's a sudden downpour of rain, and suddenly the whole floor is a mirror. And it reflects everything. Everything! I'm going to stop doing that with the camera because I'm driving. Thing is that on the PS4, current gen or next gen, whichever, you may be used to it reflecting things like buildings and really big objects. You're not used to it reflecting absolutely all the street furniture. You're not used to it reflecting the vehicles with this much detail. Sometimes you'll see like headlights reflected on the ground, but not the whole thing rendered in this much detail. I mean, look at that! Look at it! I can pretty much start saying that with everything around me. I mean, there's a drone up above me. Can I see the drone? There is a shadow on the ground of that drone. Just about. Yep, there it goes. There's a drone up in the air. I'm looking at that one, the riot drone. There is a slight shadow. You even pull up to the pavement, and if the camera will behave itself and stop trying to wrangle itself away from me for 5 seconds, you can even see the people being reflected. And even their body, it's not just a general shadowy shape either. Piss off, go around me. Why did he go over the pavement? Anyway, you can. My point is that you can even see their movements being reflected. Everything is reflected. This is where shit gets next level. Next level impressive. That billboard just changed. You can, because it's a rainy floor, you can even, there's like distortion as well. So it's not a perfect mirror. I'm not one for graphics. I'm not one for falling over myself over graphics and that kind of stuff, because it's, I mean, all this stuff is irrelevant to gameplay. It doesn't make the game any better. It makes it cooler to look at. Doesn't make the game play any better, but it's still impressive. Of course, another quality of this fancy ray tracing is that you can see reflections in shop windows. Not just the ground that happens to be wet, like that person just walking across. You can't see it very well on this, but I just found myself watching this, and apart from it being a cool visual effect, I found myself thinking, you know that thing that spies often do in TV and films? They'll look in reflections rather than looking at the person they're following up directly. What happens if you used a mechanic like this in a game like Hitman? I mean, at the moment, it's purely a visual. It's a cosmetic thing, really. Because I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking in windows like this. The only reason I'm staring at it right now is to admire the reflections. But another game like Hitman could put this to practical effect, actually turn it into a gameplay mechanic, not just mere cosmetic detail. Something to think about. And one more thing I want to bring up, I have finally, I think, worked out how the weapon switching works, how the weapon equip system works, because everyone who's played this game has at some point been playing, they've recruited someone with a gun like this P308, this rifle, and they think, fine, they've got a rifle, I can equip it, great, but nobody else seems to be able to equip it on the roster. Okay, so the weapons are limited to just this one character. That kind of sucks, but whatever. And then later on, you'll acquire a new character, you'll switch out their weapons, and you'll suddenly discover they can equip the rifle. What? When did that happen? and you get confused because you don't know why. Before you couldn't equip it, and now you kind of can, but not everyone can do it. And what's going on here? I think I've worked out why. First of all, if you want to equip a weapon on a character, you have to have a team member with that weapon. So you have to have the weapon somewhere on your character roster, like this one with the rifle, like this one with the shock SMG, the shock rifle, etc, etc. Here's the clever bit. Once your character has one particular type of a weapon, a particular weapon class under their belt, like this one has a rifle, you can equip any rifle, but only the rifles. And that's what's confusing people. This character has a rifle of their own, but they also have rifle training that lets them use it, and the game doesn't explain that. So if I select this, you can see that I've got the pistol because there's 4 standard DedSec weapons, that's one of them, but I've also got a non-lethal assault rifle here, a non-lethal semi-auto rifle rather. I've got the AK-47 as well. The only wrinkle, the only tiny fly in the ointment here is if a character has a unique weapon, like this MP5 silenced. Unique weapons cannot be shared between characters. And no, unique weapon, they can't be switched either. If a character has a unique weapon, yes, they can use that one weapon, but this particular character on my roster can't use any other weapon because they haven't got anything else to exchange it. Unique weapons can't switch. So anything like this LTL stun gun or the LTL dart gun, you can't, no one else can use them, and they, with that being their only weapon, they can't use anything else. Oh, that was a bad throw to start with. I seriously doubt that ray tracing can help with playing this. Oh my god. At least it's true to life. I am about this good in reality. Damn, how dare you. What? Oh, math. Where's 16 on a dartboard? I know there is one. Oh, there is. Right. Okay, so, if I hit a treble, I should be able to finish on a double, yeah? My mental arithmetic skills are not brilliant, but they're good enough. I do not totally suck at mental arithmetic. This is news to me. Lampposts. Lamppost casting a shadow that way, and the other lamppost casting a shadow that way. Yes, it is kind of awesome. But I don't want to walk left and right in the middle of the road while staring at the tarmac for the entire game, you know what I mean? It's the shadows cast on the floor and on the occasional wall if you happen to be close enough with the light source in the right place. A lot of things have to be right for you to see it, but out of everything, by far and away the best visual improvement is when it rains and you get a covering of water on the road and the whole thing just turns into a mirror and you can see all the detail of everything reflected. That is by far and away the best part of the visual upgrade of this game. It's only a cosmetic improvement. It doesn't actually affect the gameplay in any way. It is seriously fucking cool to look at while you're driving around though. You've just got to watch out that while you're driving round, you don't allow your eye to be drawn down to the road and stare in complete and utter jaw-dropping amazement. How the hell are they doing it? And you crash into a taxi. You know what I mean? It's a bit distracting. It's that impressive. The shadows, you sometimes notice how accurately, impressively rendered they are. But yeah, the road water reflection is the one that you will notice the most. It'll be interesting to see what other games come up with and how eye-catching they'll be. Will I have to stop playing to appreciate the detail like Miles Morales? Or will I just naturally notice it like in Watch Dogs Legion? I hope I will naturally notice it, because otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose of having the improved visuals, you know what I mean? But I look forward to seeing what else they do, and what else they do with the controller, with the vibration and the triggers. And I want to know, are they going to do anything with the touchpad besides use it as possibly 1 or 2 buttons? We'll see. Anyway, I think I'm done for this video. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe and share, all that jazz. See you next time.